Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Another week in the transfer window begins, and where will it end? We've got lots to talk about. Kelvin Phillips to Liverpool from Manchester City. I think that's a weird one, but Harry Kane. Also, let's start off with Chelsea, Caicedo. Look, this is the week where Arsenal and everybody else, Man United, they're going to be getting on the plane and they're going to be flying halfway across the world, whether it's America or Asia. That makes it difficult to do deals. That you don't see an abundance of deals done when these clubs are away for 2 weeks. And a lot of players get on that plane that don't want to be on it. And a lot of managers have players on that plane that they don't want to be there. So it's a big week to try and get some things done before it, or you end up delaying it for a couple of weeks. Caicedo, Brighton, Chelsea. It's been a weird deal. Fabrizio Romano is basically saying that Chelsea will improve their bid for Caicedo this week. It's not about official bids, as Chelsea are discussing directly with the club, but the proposal has to be improved. More than £70 million fixed for Caicedo. I mean, look, first of all, is he worth that? Well, he's worth what people will pay for him. I think this is why Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United certainly are not in the race for a very good player, because the price is extortionate. But this is Brighton. They do get good prices. They do good transfer business, scouting, and this is a player that they want to make as much money on as they can because he's a key player for them. So I think with Caicedo, he will end up at Chelsea. I don't really understand why it's taken so long. There was even talk this morning that Caicedo is getting a bit frustrated. It's weird. I think it's been a bit of a weird transfer because there's not been a Euros or a World Cup that logically delays things. Players finish the season, go on holiday, and a lot of deals just haven't been done unless you're Arsenal or Liverpool. So I think there's probably a bit of confusion why it hasn't happened. Is that just to do with the price and negotiations? Chelsea know they're going to end up paying a lot of money for a player that no one else is actually going to pay. That doesn't mean he's a bad signing. As I said yesterday, Declan Rice is overpriced, but the player will be worth it over the coming years. And Caicedo could be the same for Chelsea. Over £70 million up front is a lot of money. And I think that obviously is going to be where the delay point is. Brighton will just dig their heels in and say, we want this money, we want this money. And Chelsea will probably be trying to traditionally try and bring that price down, which they can't do. At some point, they're just going to have to bite the bullet and get the player in. And apparently that could be this week. I think Caicedo to Chelsea, they've got to make a signing like that. When you look at the players that have gone, they've got to make a signing that's going to almost represent the Pochettino era. He would be the most significant signing of that. And they need to bring a player in that's going to ignite that fan base and that club. And I think sometimes that doesn't need to be a Neymar or an Erling Haaland. It can be a player like that. I do look at it and go, well, look, Basuma to Spurs last year. People will say Basuma's crap, but that's based on a year of him not being very good. I think when Basuma went to Spurs last year, I thought it was a fantastic signing. It didn't work out. Any transfer can flop, but I think Chelsea just need to get moving a little bit. They were so far off the pace last year, and I don't really see where they fit into the top four this year based on the activity they've done so far. So getting that deal in and potentially seeing more will be really important for Chelsea. So let's see what happens with that. Sticking with the midfield, I've seen this a few times. We mentioned Liverpool yesterday. They will want a midfielder with Fabinho going to Saudi Arabia. They've been linked to Calvin Phillips. I don't see the logic in that deal, really. Homegrown player, of course, I see that. But I don't know. Look, Man City sold Jesus and Zinchenko to Arsenal last year, and Arsenal challenged Man City for the title. So maybe the parameters of that have changed a little bit now that you don't sell to direct rivals. But Pep Guardiola will be so confident and arrogant in his team that he'll be like, if I give Calvin Phillips to Liverpool, I don't think that's going to make Liverpool win the title. But it does. I just don't feel that would happen. I don't feel that Calvin Phillips, Man City would sell to Liverpool or Liverpool would buy from Manchester City. Ultimately, would he be a good signing? Well, I would say no. I don't actually think that Calvin Phillips is an upgrade on Jordan Henderson or Fabinho to the extent that you would want it to be. I think you're far better served going for Lavia, even a Gravenberch from Bayern Munich. I don't think Calvin Phillips makes a lot of sense. I really think there's a massive risk there. I thought the amount of football he played last season was abysmal. I know Man City are a good side, but there should have been more minutes there. I don't think that. But then Jurgen Klopp is the master of getting a player and taking them to next levels. And look, Kelvin Phillips at Leeds was a good player. I was never quite sure about whether he was a Man City player. I mean, we were linked to him at Manchester United, and I think that was probably more, I hate to say, excuse me, I hate to say the level, but certainly the level of football as well. We weren't playing, and still aren't playing the football that Man City play. But Liverpool, clearly, I think it will be Lavia, as I said yesterday. Don't know what your thoughts are, Liverpool fans or anybody else, but I don't think Kelvin Phillips is necessarily the sort of signing that moves the needle for Liverpool at all. Just on West Ham, they've got that Declan Rice money. I mean, look, we all love football. We're not elitist here. West Ham in talks apparently to sign Portugal midfielder João Palhinha from Fulham. I think he had a fantastic debut season in the Premier League for Fulham. I think it would be a shame for Fulham to lose him after a good season last year. But when you've got the money and you're trying to replace Declan Rice, I think that's a very intelligent signing from West Ham if they can get it through. They're also linked to Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire. You can mock them as much as you like, but I actually think there's two players that would do well at West Ham and would be, certainly Maguire would be a very good signing for that type of club and the way that they play. Lots been written about Chelsea and Lukaku. That's just another player they need to move out because they do need to bring a striker in, and I'm quite surprised that again that's lingered on as long as it has. Probably problematic to move Lukaku on. I mean, you think about it, you add up the transfer fees of Lukaku over the years and the criticism he gets as an actual striker, and yet there'll still be clubs out there. Newcastle linked with Napoli superstar Kvaratskhelia. I can't get that name. I can't do it. What a fantastic talent he is. I mean, if Newcastle were able to bring in a player like that, I mean, that's the sort of deal that you think that a Barcelona or a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich or a Manchester City are looking at. I mean, if Newcastle genuinely are in for a player like that, I don't know whether they are, but they went and got Tonali from Serie A, so who knows how that could work out. But maybe keep an eye on that. I mean, again, I was very impressed with Tonali going to Newcastle. If they brought Kvaratskhelia in as well, I think that's really interesting. But apparently they're looking at Harvey Barnes, which is very, very different. And I think this week as well, I just want to mention Harry Kane. I know it's a story that people do tend to get a little bit bored of, but world-class striker. What are Spurs going to do? Bayern are very, very confident. I just think if you're sat there as a Spurs fan, you're starting to think, well, if this deal's going to happen, can it happen today? I don't want it to be a Daniel Levy, stretch it out for 6 weeks to sell him at the end of the transfer window and leave us with a decent fee, but no time to do anything about it. And also, I also think it's the oldest trick in the book. The minute you're going to sell Harry Kane to Bayern Munich, maybe you do let the negotiations go for a week or two, and in that week or two, you go and buy the bloody replacement before you sold Kane. Because if you've got your Kane money in your pocket, you're paying another £20 million for the replacements anyway, because they know you've got the money. So, interesting to see if Spurs start doing anything in the market, because that might be a big indicator that Kane is going to go. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. We are on that road to 1 million, so please subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, give the video a share if you're not. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and get your comments in below. What are your thoughts? Lots to discuss there. Caicedo, Kelvin Phillips to Liverpool, the Kane developments. Give us your thoughts on what your club's up to at the moment as well. Are they doing enough? Speak to you in a bit.